have not done one of these in ages. I am actually very excited about this, and I hope you guys are too. Death by choking on water. Damn, that was strong. Am I the only one who deeply misses book tags, book challenges, and all of the fun stuff that didn't necessarily involve like a sit-down book video or something that didn't involve vlogging? Because I cannot be. The essence of BookTube for me way back when was all of these challenges. It allowed me to find a bunch of new books, whether the booktuber had read or not, and it was like a quick little short video to have in the background to be entertained. But today we are here with a book challenge. I did part 1 to this 2 years ago, I think, which was the Do I Have That Book Challenge. Today we're going to be doing the Do I Have That Other Book Challenge, and I just thought we could have some fun today and scavenge these bookshelves and find books that fit all of these prompts, which are 20. We've got 20 questions today, and I hope it's a good time. I don't know why my heart is going pitter patter a little bit, and I feel like I have to like rush around and like gather things, but I'm competing with myself, and there is no timer. I don't know why I feel like so jittery. I haven't even had coffee today. For question number 1, do you have a book with a fox on the cover or part of the plot? Do we see it? Do we see it? I'm going to go with Wicked Fox for this one. I absolutely love this book. You guys know this. This is the story of Gumi Young, who is a 9-tailed fox, except that she loses her fox speed, and then she has to partner up with a human that she wants nothing to do with in order to find said fox speed, because he might have swallowed it. It's very K-drama vibes, so you will get like that romantic element to it, while also getting a lot of that character construction, but at the same time getting a lot of familial struggles. Very, very nice. Do you have a book that was published the year you were born or within a 3-year radius? Is this where I shock everybody by telling them that I was born in 1999? Because people are always shocked when I say that. Anyways, maybe what year did Game of Thrones come out? Hold up. This is gonna make me look for everything in my bookshelves. Oh, this came out in 1996. Oh, that is a 3-year radius. I've watched the show like 4 times over, I think, and I absolutely loved it. Also really loved House of the Dragon, and I can't wait for season 2. But this I have yet to pick up and finish. I literally only read like 2 chapters, I think, and I did start annotating this, and ask me if I finished it. No. Do you have a book with music as a weapon or magic? The first book that comes to mind is Something in the Infernal Devices trilogy by Cassandra Clare, because of Jem and his violin. I don't actually know. I can't remember if that does any magic. Everybody's gonna be like, yes, Mel, yes, it does. Where are the music girlies? Oh, wait, I haven't read this one yet. However, I do own the Savage Song. I do own this, and I think it's also the violin, actually. I don't know. I know this has got something to do. Of course, I have other books that are music. Another book I haven't read, Kingdom of Bach, Sister of Bach, Forgotten Sister in a Fantasy World. I've heard this is really good. And then this, which I've also heard is really good. And music is used as a form of magic to destroy monsters, I think. Do you have a series with mismatched covers? I mean, I think I would go with the usual that everybody goes with, which is probably the Diviners. Call me the girl of many options. I brought out the Diviner series, which I think this is more notoriously known for switching covers so many times throughout the series. It's like they couldn't make up their mind as to what to do with cover design, when the first book was perfectly perfect. Literally, look at the first cover. It's this one. It gives you all of the occult vibes, which is the vibe for the series. This is set in the 1920s, and we follow our main character, who is very much like the it girl. She is very glitz and glam. However, she doesn't really fit into the town that she was born in, and so she decides to travel to New York and stay with her uncle, I believe, and it is there that she finds out about magic and the occult and demons and the paranormal, and it's very nice. And then the other one I pulled out, which is an intentional buy more than anything, because I did this, is the Witcher series. I have The Last Wish, which is the first set of novellas in this hardcover format, which is obviously very vastly different to the original red covers, which these are out of print now. These also don't exist now. So, do you have a book with a shapeshifter? I feel like I'm being hit with like 5 different books right now, and I cannot, in my mind, separate which is which. I should have something. Why can't I think of it? I'm sure I have a book with shapeshifting. Oh, wait! Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. This is like a Project Runway meets Mulan situation. Very loose. I know that's one of the things people have complained the most about, because it's not true to those pitches to 100%. However, it does have both of those elements at certain points of the book, because we follow our main character, who is filling in for her father, who was originally meant to go on this quest to make 3 different gowns for the Empire in order to win this competition and become like the vampire's like dressmaker situation, like the elite dressmaker. The magician in this turns into a bird. It's right here on the cover. I'm not making it up. Do you have a book signed by the author? I do. If I can find one. Where are they all? We're gonna go with Addie LaRue, which is signed by V.E. Schwab. This is the anniversary edition for anybody who's wondering, which I do think they've brought these back in stock, I'm pretty sure. Talked about this book a million times by now, but if you're the type of person that deals with a lot of feelings of inadequacy, a lot of feelings about loneliness, and really finding one's purpose in this lifetime, but feeling very frustrated with it, just feeling very lost in general, would highly recommend this book because it spoke to my soul as somebody who's felt all of those things before. Do you have a book with a mostly red cover? I also do, and we're just gonna grab the one that's on display, which is Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I am so happy that I managed to get this edition. As you guys know, the UK ran these hardcover prints just once and they never came back in stock. And so I managed to get a damaged copy, but a copy nonetheless. I do think somebody pointed this out in that video that I unboxed this in, that this was probably a library copy. Hadn't thought of that, but I think that might have been the case. Also, exactly what I said about Addie LaRue also applies to Strange the Dreamer, which is the first book. It's right up there. Also one of those books. A book between 287 and 306 pages, and I'm going directly into the literary fiction area. Oh wait, Tokyo Wellness Station is so short. Okay, this is under 200 pages. Never mind. Let's go for Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This is a little bit over 200. Are you kidding me? This is like 350. Yeah, this does not count. What the heck? 207. Will I actually have a book with that amount of pages? What do you mean? Oh, I think I found one. I think I found one. I think I found one. 289. Wait, what was the number? Not me not remembering. 289 pages. My Year of Rest and Relaxation. Peak sad girl book, but if you really want to read about a character who is on a medicated high through an entire year of what she calls rest and relaxation in order to escape her problems, but it makes her face her problems even more through a medicated haze. I'm just saying. A book with a main character who wears glasses. A romance book. I have to have a romance book that can fulfill this prompt. Maybe one of the Brown sisters? Hold up, just one of them. Oh, there we go. I'm not making this up. Get a life, Chloe Brown. Miss Chloe Brown does wear glasses. And I think I do remember some mention in the book of her always wearing like super colorful glasses. And this is one of my favorite romance series ever. If you want to find a really good overall romance series, definitely go for the Brown Sisters trilogy. It has a lot of mentions of neurodivergency, of sexuality, of finding oneself on their own, and also in a relationship. And it's just so good. The comedic timing is also phenomenal. And so I really love Miss Talia Hibbert. Bitch, I've done this before. Do you have a book with a title that has the same number of letters as your first name? I am sure that I do. M-A-L-A-N-E-A. 7 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Never mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is one short. Why can I forget? What the heck? Milk Fed, which is a book I didn't like. If you guys remember my reading literary fictions video, I really did not like this book, and I really need to do, honestly, I need to do a sweep on my bookshelves and just remove a bunch of books that I haven't liked in the past and just get them off the shelves and pass them on to people who could potentially like them better. But Milk Fed, which I wish I wouldn't have grabbed. Do you have a book with cybercrime / technology as a plot point? Technology, cybercrime, technology. I'm sure I have something with technology and I don't know why I cannot think of it. I'm sure I have something. Let me go with the sci-fi for this one, going with Skyward, because robots, technology, spaceships, all those things are heavily featured in this one because we follow our main character who's going to flight school in order to honor her dad's death and bring up the truth of what happened in an accident that deemed him a coward and a traitor. And this is so action-packed and so good, and the characters are phenomenal. It has a non-human companion in a spaceship called Mbot, and it is the best thing of all time. Would highly suggest. Also, perfect intro to sci-fi, if you ask me. Do you have a book in a language other than English or that is translated to English? And that I do, let us go with El Juego del Ángel, which is the second book in the series El Cementerio de los Libros Olvidados by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Again, this is in Spanish and I have yet to read it because it intimidates the shit out of me because of how much I loved the first one, but I've heard that this is the fan favorite. And we follow an author who is approached by a fellow mysterious author to craft a novel like it's never been seen before. That's all I know and it sounds so good and I need to get to it. Do you have a book written by an Asian author? That a girl does. What do we want to go with? For this one, I am going with Tokyo Ueno Station. This is a book that I absolutely loved when I initially read it. We follow a homeless man, Kazu, who is now dead, and his connection to the imperial family throughout the course of his life, and there are conversations about fatherhood and family, also about class and privilege, and also about what it means to die and still be quote-unquote as unseen as you were in walking life in corporeal form. And it was quite an emotional ride, quite a good book if I do say so myself, and I had a great time with it. Ooh, do you have a book with a moon on the cover? With the amount of fantasy books I own, I would sure hope so. No, I think this is considered a sun. Never mind. I was gonna go for that one. Is this considered a moon? Right up here? I'm not sure, but let's go for a Discovery of Witches because I can't think of anything else. I'm sure, I mean, oh no, Way of Kings, I'm sure that's the sun. You know, Wicked Fox has a moon. You know what? Let's just go with the Discovery of Witches. It's also one of my all-time favorite books. We follow a witch who wants to deny at all costs that she is a witch, except she then pulls the Ashmole 789 from the Bodleian Library, and that unleashes an interspecies war, and she will need to band up with a vampire named Matthew to solve it all, and it's very sultry, very sexy, not smutty at all. It's very historical, it's very alchemical, it's very sciencey. However, didn't think I'd care and I did. Do you have an illustrated children's book? Now, would middle grade count for this or would middle grade not count for this? I think that's a good question. I do have the Narnia series, it's up there, and when I tell you a girl is neither tall enough or has a ladder in which to climb to pull that down, I would have to climb up to my desk chair. And if there is one thing we're not doing today, is that if not that, and if I can go with a middle grade, if I can take the liberty to do that, let us go for Pages & Co., which is full of illustrations throughout the entire series and individual books. A collection of fairy tales or myths. I do have fairy tales though by Hans Christian Andersen. Do you have a sci-fi fantasy with an alliance between races? I do. Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Got it right here, and it is one amazing book. I've actually been seeing it in a lot of 2022 favorite books of the year videos, and it makes my heart so warm because it really is an amazing book. We follow our main character who literally wakes up in space. Everybody is dead around him. He doesn't remember his name. The only thing he comes to know at some point is that he has to figure out exactly what's happening in order to save planet Earth from absolute chaos and destruction. And the way he does that is by partnering up with an alien. I love Rocky. A book with a narrow front cover. Yes, I think Daisy Jones. Yes, Daisy Jones and the Six does have that. As you can see by trimmed cover, it means that it is slightly shorter than the next page because it typically has like reviews and like promotional stuff in it. But Daisy Jones and the Six, you guys know, one of my favorite books of last year. It follows the story of a woman who wants to become a singer, and in order to do that, she forms an alliance with a pre-existing band who is not doing so well called the Six, and it explores life in the 70s in a rock band and all that means for people with substance and drug abuse, with life on tour, the pressures of making music, about falling in love, not falling in love, and all of the chaos, all of the lies, all of the embellishments that would make a band break up. All here. Do you have a book that includes the first chapter of the sequel? One of my first reads of the year, Delilah Green Doesn't Care, actually has, I don't know if it's like the whole first chapter, but it definitely has like a little excerpt of book 2 at the back. So I will count this because it's my video. And who's going to tell me it doesn't count? So I'm going to go with Delilah Green Doesn't Care because this was a masterpiece of a romance book, if you ask me. It is a sapphic romance featuring a single parent trope, and we follow our main character, Delilah Green, who doesn't like commitment of any kind, but then she is contacted by her stepsister to be a photographer at her wedding, which is the last thing she wants to do. And while she is there, she meets the maid of honor and one of the best friends who has a kid, and they end up canoodling and doing the things and getting involved, keeping it a secret, all the good things. I think though what is so good about this book is that the emotional depth to it is unlike anything I've ever seen before in a romance book. I think romance books that I've read at least tend to keep emotions on a very surface level where it doesn't feel like it's even scraping the surface of the character's emotions and the reasoning as to why they do a lot of things. This one though, I felt the resentment, I felt the mourning, I felt the anguish, I felt that deep sense of like not belonging. It was just, I don't know if maybe it's just because a lot of it resonated with me, but damn did Delilah Green do all the things I wanted her to do. So yes, love it very much. And for the very last question we have got, do you have a book with a broken spine? Let me show you my current read, or should I show you Priory of the Orange Tree, because I got the UK edition. I don't know if you can see that. Let me just zoom you in, but she splays open, honey. she opens. This is going to pain a lot of people, but I love me a good broken spine. So listen, it's my book. Defacing it, writing in it, underlining in it, breaking the spine, doing all the things. Look at that, it's beautiful. It didn't do this before. It wouldn't, I almost dropped it. It wouldn't even move. And that is it for today, friends. That's all I've got for you. That was the Do I Have That Other Book challenge, which again, I am going to try and find more like tags and challenges to do in the future. But if you would like to see any in particular, whether it's the you choose, like the book I read through like the bookshelf in the shelf, whatever it is, leave all of the tags and challenges that I haven't done that you guys would love me to do, because I feel like there are tons out there that I have never heard of. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a massive thumbs up down below. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't done so already for more bookish content. And if you want to support the channel further, I do have a Patreon, always linked down below. I love you guys so much, and I shall see you on the next one. Goodbye!